So, I really like this foundation from Tarte. This is their maracuja tinted hydrator. I can tell you right now it's more than a tint because I mixed it with my Uoma and it apparently mixes with the Uoma very well. But I'm orange today, at least according to my pictures. We are really, really orange. I probably have to find another shade or not use it. Orange. So hello and welcome to domytriesthis. I hope you brought your cuppa. Today's coffee mug was found by my daughter. She did a search for Penelope's coffee mug from Criminal Minds. So I now have a Penelope mug and I have a Shamar Moore mug. I am quite pleased. He has a little eye on the other side too. This is just so cute. I don't know how often I will use it as a coffee mug. The inside is got crevices. The handle is solid, so I don't have to worry about having to wash out the handle. But sometimes getting those little crevices and things on the bottom can be quite tricky. So we'll have to see if it's going to work that way fairly well for a coffee mug. Usually stuff that has a lot of little crevices and dips and divots in it doesn't work very well because they're a pain in the butt to clean. Anyway, in our coffee mug, our Penelope coffee mug, we have the David's Tea Tulsi Tranquility Fruity Stress Relief Tea. This is from our January Sips Buy, and I'm so glad we're finally in the January Sips Buy. For a while there, it looked like we were never going to get out of December. At any rate, this has rose hip shells and seeds, apple tulsi, hibiscus, red currants. They are dried red currants, and they are not chopped up. They are whole red currants. Rose petals, raspberries, strawberries, and natural flavoring. I actually have tried a number of David's teas and have really enjoyed them, so I suspect I will enjoy this one. I have it in my brand new tea steeper. Very happy with that. But let's go ahead and give her a sip and we will get started. Not getting much of a scent yet. Oh, we're starting to get something. Not quite sure about the flavor yet. There is something starting, but it is hot and it has just started steeping. So these tend to take 3 to 5 minutes, sometimes more. 16 ounces of water for every 1 to 2 spoons. I put 1 tablespoon in there, and I would have to say that's probably about 8 ounces of water, but I like a strong tea. We'll see how she's at the end of the video. Anyway, today we are continuing with some of the indie brand mini reviews of the indie brands that I picked up last year and just could never seem to get around to doing a review. This one may be a bit longer. I have a few things, a few of them I run eloquent on from the looks of this. But anyway, these are the ones that came out that I got last year that I love, that are new favorites, that are stuff that I'm actually trying to repurchase from that brand and all that kind of stuff because the quality was just amazing and I love it. So we're going to get started with the big one that I have. I have quite a few of this. Hold on a minute. Let me make sure I find everything that goes with it, because I've actually already purchased quite a bit from this brand, and that is Melt Cosmetics. I seriously love Melt. There have been a number of brands that influencers and friends have said, oh, this is an amazing brand, and then I have tried them and it's been like, okay, it's all right. There's another one out that I've got to review that so far is that a lot of people I know that I really respect really love it, and I'm just like, okay, whatever, it's nice. It's not anything I'm actually intending to repurchase from anytime soon. sadly. But Melt is not one of those. I think my least favorite palette of the one... Well, let me show you the palettes I own first. It started with the Muerte palettes. I saw the Muerte palettes, and I just had to have them, if only for the packaging alone, because this is amazing. This is amazing. It's gorgeous. So I had to pick these up just for these particular palettes. Their color stories are beautiful. This one is the Vida, which is life, and they did a very spring toned palette for that. And this one is Muerte, which is death. And they did a rather much darker, although they did make sure to include at least one lighter color. This one would be light, but this would be one I would put under my brow. They did include a much darker color story for it, and as you can see, I've been digging into some of these as well. Then later I decided, after experiencing these, I had to pick up the Radioactive. This is the Radioactive. I love this palette as well. I think my only complaint is that they have the two greens and the two purples. Somewhere in there, I think there should be a blue. Even if they added an extra color, I do think that they needed like at least an electric kind of blue. But other than that, the pink is just so vibrant when you wear it. And we'll try to get some swatches in a minute. But then I picked up this one, and I think the last one is probably my least favorite in the group, and that's the She's in Parties. This color story is right up my alley. I love mauves and purples. However, I've struggled with this one to make some decent looks, and I find that this actually works much better as a support palette for me. I think the biggest problem with this one is that a lot of these shade differences, they look different when you're looking at the pans, but they aren't really. This is pretty much a slightly darker, only slightly darker, shimmery version of this particular matte, and there's just difficulties. These two are very close in tone. I think that was just the biggest struggle, is that we're looking at a lot of shades in here that are so close in tone that it is you can end up with your looks being very muddy when you're using this by itself. Or if you do somewhat complicated looks like I do sometimes 3 colors on the lid, and then I have one in the crease and one that goes out to my brow bone, as many of you know, and plus one under the brow. So I can use 6, 7, 8 shades on my face, on my eyes, because there's different tones underneath sometimes. And this just doesn't have enough of a variety or enough of a difference between a lot of these shades to make it really work as a solo palette for me. All of the shades in here, however, all that said, all the shades in these palettes are highly pigmented, easily to blend. The mattes are absolutely amazing. You all know I'm not a matte girl, but I love these mattes, and even the yellows tend to show up on my skin really, really well. This is coming out of that Vita palette. It shows up. It's amazing. They're beautiful. They're highly blendable. They're very pigmented. They do tend to stay on my face, on my eyes. They do tend to stand up to that. I think the only ones that I've had some issues with are these more, I would call them glittery type shimmers. They're not all out, full out glitters, but as much as they come up beautifully on the fingers, I've had issues with them on the skin. I'm actually wearing this one underneath my eyes, and this one is falling apart easily. That's partly the eye, but some of that is because can be very difficult to get these up on my skin and get them to stay. They're absolutely beautiful in that regard, in the regard of being pigmented. Like I said, the mattes are great. Most of the shimmers are really great. They do have a couple of satins, I believe, in the Radioactive. Yeah, some of these are not outright shimmers. They're satins. They're a bit drier, and they're beautiful, but they come off more matte when you actually wear them. But it is, if you look in the pan, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it, but it is a slightly, maybe I should try this yellow, but he might be a shimmer. No, he's got that shimmery quality. So let's put this yellow on here. And I'm also going to put this pink on here. These are all more satin. They're not really mattes, but when you see them on my skin, they look kind of matte-ish more. They don't have as much of a shimmer as I would expect a satin to have. But like I said, even with them not actually having that kind of sheen that I would normally associate with a satin, they are obviously quite pigmented. They do stay in place quite well. As you can see, we've got quite a bit of stick-to-itiveness on these. This one wouldn't do that because it is more of a glittery shade. And with the problems with the glittery shades, they're easily rectified. I mean, I don't like using my fingers, but you can use your fingers. You can use a sponge tip applicator. You can use a pretty solid, you know, a very stiff brush and get it wet, and those seem to help with those more glittery shimmers that aren't really shimmers and they aren't really glitters. They're in the middle there. For those that it does bother, these do have quite a bit of fallout. So I would recommend having something underneath your eyes if you're going to put your foundation on first, or even better, put your foundation on after you do your eyes with these, because there is a lot of fallout for them. It doesn't bother me, but I do know that it does bother some people. The other nice thing is, considering the price point of these run, I think the lowest end is somewhere around $50, and the newer one that they have that I want is around $58. So they run $50 to $60. Considering that price point, they're very good, and I would recommend them anyway. They will be worth it. They stand up to the inner corners of my eyes. As you know, that is an issue for me, and they stand up to them as well or better than the Violet Voss. So this is a brand that if you have issues with your eyes, with the eyeshadow just disappearing, this is a brand where it should stick around for a bit. You saw how it was taking it off. They reapply beautifully and without the muddiness I often see in other shadows, and I can even do that with some of the mattes, not all of them. But some of the mattes will reapply as well. They become some of my favorite shadows, and I think they're well worth the higher price, and I really want to try some of their other products. They have a new bronzer out, they have a highlighter out, they have some other things out that I've been wanting to try as well. I want to try their gel liners. I hear that those are very good, and again, I think this is one of those rare brands when I look at that higher price, that $50 to $60 price, that I go, yes, this is worth it. So highly recommend it. So in addition to the palettes, I picked up one of their liquid lipsticks. Their lipsticks are smooth and creamy and pigmented. The one shade I have dries down comfortably, though it does accentuate my lines a little bit. I'm wearing a different one today. I'm actually wearing another one today, but the color on it is very similar to this. These are beautiful. I love this shade. I'm not a matte lipstick person. You all know that. I don't like mattes at all. To me, they're very drying. Mattes for my eyes end up looking very dusty on the most part. It does not for these. Mattes on my lips, I don't like how uncomfortable they are. I don't like the fact that there's no slip. Easily solved. I usually solve that with a gloss or something over it. I don't like mattes, but these are really nice and comfortable mattes. That said, it blends well with other lipsticks and glosses. It's not a favorite formula. My favorite formula up to now is in this list today, but it is up there, and I wouldn't mind owning some more of these. So yes, if you've been waiting to try Melt, if you can find a palette on there or a lipstick shade on there that you like, try it. I think you will not be disappointed. They're definitely well worth the higher price point to me. Yeah, I know for a lot of these palettes too, that they're coming up off their stacks and they're redoing the stacks into palette form, and some people are not happy about that. As someone who would have issue with where to store the stacks, I'm kind of glad that they did the palette forms myself. So I'm pretty pleased. I highly recommend to anybody who's looking for a good high quality palette. If you can find one in their collection that you like, get it. The other nice thing is some of their limited edition, like the Muerte palettes, the Melt, these palettes. what I've noticed is, unlike a lot of brands, they will restock the limited edition palettes a couple of times. So, unlike what happened with the Christmas palette, where I had to wait 3 years and for them to decide that they were going to bring it back every Christmas and all that other stuff, or unlike other palettes that we see come in, they're limited edition, then they go away. Although the shades may show up somewhere else, that palette is gone, and those shades altogether are gone as it is. These guys, they keep them out for a long time. The Vita palettes are not available anymore, but they were out for quite some time. And so if you, I wouldn't say wait, a year, but if they have a limited edition that you're interested in, it's not like you're going to have to rush out and get it right away, because it seems like they do restock those palettes. So that is really, really nice. So next on my favorites list is Nomad. I got the Berlin Underground palette either in an Ipsy. It had to be in an Ipsy because I've been seeing them show up. So it had to be in an Ipsy Plus. I was on Ipsy Plus for 9 months, maybe a year. And I believe I got this palette through them. It's quite possible I got it at BoxyCharm, but I don't think so. And it is a grungy palette, if you see. So I didn't use it a lot. I did use a number of the colors, specific colors, but for the most part, I didn't use a lot of the shades. But I did enjoy it enough to keep it. So it also made me curious about some of their other palettes. And I currently have both my Berlin and I have the Cartagena. And I have, I don't even know what this one is called. This is Tokyo. So, and the Tokyo is interesting in that it has a lot of very pastel colors, and the pastel colors show up on my skin, which is really, really nice. I have owned a fourth. It was the Marrakesh, I believe, and I had issues with it. There was just something about that particular palette's formula or the pressing or something. I just had a lot of issues with it, and I was really, really unhappy with it. So I left a review on the site. They contacted me personally and said that, let me see now. Apparently there was a pressing issue, and they let me know they fixed it. So I was really appreciative that they did say, hey, we understand that there was an issue. We're letting you know that we are aware of it and we have fixed the issue. However, they did not offer to replace or give me a discount on a new palette to replace the one I was having issue with. I was really pleased with them responding and fixing the issue. Not so impressed with them admitting that the fault was on their end, but not offering some sort of compensation or replacement for a palette that wasn't working. I kind of get it. I shouldn't say I kind of get it. I do get it. I do get it. They're a small indie brand. They're really starting to get known now, but they're a small indie brand. They're run by a husband and wife team. I've actually had contact with them on Instagram. They are amazingly nice. They're really sweet people, and they are always very polite. I've never had any issues talking to them. They've been appreciative of the honest reviews I've given, so that is something that I really appreciate, because we've had so many brands recently where the issues are just so bad. The the customer service or the way the owners talk to people, the last 2 years has just been crazy with that. So I'm giving a pass, though. They're actually a smaller brand. Like I said, they run by only a few people. The fact that they reached out at all is pretty amazing. Most companies ignore or delete negative reviews, so I give them props for that. I have to say that, like I said, I was first introduced to them through this Berlin palette, through my Ipsy Plus, and I kind of went from there. And I really enjoy their satins. Their satins are actually really nice. They're very, they definitely have a very satiny, you may not see this, but they do have that satin kind of shine to them. They come off a little bit matte, but satins aren't supposed to have, like, a high shine the way shimmers do. They do have some shimmers. This one is all satins. Let me look. So these are their shimmers. Their shimmers do shim, as Too Much Mouth would say. They're beautiful. Here's one of their shimmers. Whoa. You can see there's a nice shine to that. Their mattes are decent. Let me find a matte for you. Let's take a matte from a different palette. So grabbing this matte here from the Berlin. Again, you're just looking at some really high pigmentation. There is some flakiness to them when you swatch them that way. Because their shimmers are so borderline or so close to almost being like pressed glitters or being light glitters, they do better with a sponge tip applicator, a fingertip, or a firm wet brush. The nice thing is the firm wet brush is not a struggle. It does work really well. Their mattes are beautifully pigmented and blendable and buildable. Even the pastels in the Tokyo palette work for me. My skin snacks on pastels and eats neutrals for dinner. That's how it is. They do have a bit of fallout, and the glitters do sometimes, the more glittery shades do sometimes do better if you use a glitter glue, even though they aren't full-on glitters. But the pigmentation doesn't disappoint, at least with the palettes I own. The presentation of the palettes is really nice. It's very sturdy cardboard. They do all come with a mirror. All of them come with a mirror, which I appreciate. The price is really good for them, I think. The colors tend to reflect, the colors on the packaging reflect the shades inside, which I also appreciate quite a bit. Because we've had a few lately where brands have presented these beautiful, colorful palettes, and then they open up and you're like, that doesn't even match. What is that? You have blues and purples and greens on the outside, on the inside. Browns and reds? There's a green. There's maybe a blue. It doesn't match. I really hate that. Honestly, if you're gonna make your colors sort of match your box. Yes, and I think their color stories make sense. I love the idea of destinations. They have cute stamps on all of them. So again, I don't know if you noticed that. This one has it's upside down to avoid the mirror, but it has little like cats type things, and it looks like that's a lizard. I don't know if you can even see those, but they all have stamps. The Berlin Underground has skulls with mohawks. They're upside down, but you can see that there. And then the Tokyo one has cute little Japanese kittens and the kind of things that you would see on some of the like some of the stickers that I've gotten or seen that have that kind of artwork on them. So it's really cute. I hate messing up some pictures, but you know, if you're going to use it. Now, the one downside to these for me is that they do not stand up to my eyes as well as some of the other palettes I use. Better than most. Better than most. But they are definitely not Violet Voss or Melt. The metallics in particular do really well. You can see they do not have as much staining as other palettes have in the past. There's a little bit of that pink still sitting there. Reds do that anyway. But to me, that is a sign that they just won't stay up on my eyes very well. But it's fine. They reapply well. They're, like I said, they become a favorite of mine. And I find using glitter glue, even for just the shimmery shades, does help a lot. And I do intend to expand my collection and even try some of their highlighters and other products. Although I got one at Ipsy in some point, I don't remember much about it. So me not remembering is more a reflection of my memory than any issues with their highlighters. So yeah, I'm really, really impressed with these. These are a better price point. I think these run about 30 to 40. So they run a little bit less than the Melts. You get more colors, and it's still really decent quality. So it's another brand that I can say that I recommend and I love, and I want their new Iceland palette. I want it. I want it now. I want it. I'm waiting. but I want it. That is a gorgeous palette. If you haven't seen it yet, go check out their Instagram because it is beautiful. And I want it. I want it so bad. So next I have the Mented stuff that I purchased. Now, no palette. But they recently released another palette, but their first palette was just neutral. It's very, very neutral. The new palette, if I recall correctly, also leans neutral. Y'all know I want color. So I'm hoping one day they will release a colorful palette so I can try that. But in the meantime, I did try their blush, their bronzer, their lipstick, and a lip liner. So I want to try more of their products, but this is where we started. With the bronzer and the blush, my first recommendation, go light. Really, go light, because especially with the blush, that they just go on. If you're not careful, they just go on. They have an astonishing amount of pigment. So you want to start light and build up. The first time I used these, I mean, it was just seriously, whoa, okay. I had to use a lot of my powder brush to bring it down. The bronzer is a bit warmer than I prefer for winter, but still beautiful. The lipstick and the lip liner are a little different in that the lipstick is a touch dry. I don't think I would buy another lipstick. The color is also a bit off for me. It's okay, but I'm not into browns. Whenever I do wear this, I do end up adjusting it with something that's pink or red or whatever to give it some more tone. I just prefer doing that. The lip liner is nice. It is a roll up, and it rolls back down, so you don't have to worry about having over-rolled it. They both apply well, but again, you're looking at a color thing. The interesting thing about the lipstick and the liner, you can get these in sets, pairs of 2. And they will put them together. So they don't have names. These are 5. This is M5. This is part of the number 5 pair. At least I don't think you have any names. Yeah, it just says Mented number 5 on the bottom. I really would prefer shades and be able to pick and match my own liner with a lipstick, but it's not bad that way. I mean, it just they're trying to help. The lipstick does feel a touch waxy or heavy on the lips, but it's not horribly annoying. It's just, you know, between the color and the dryness of the actual application and the fact that it's a matte, these are not something I would repurchase. However, I can recommend these. They're highly pigmented. Just be careful when you apply them. I would purchase more of these in the future, I think, at some point, if I ever run out. I think we all know that's probably not going to happen, but if I ever ran out, I probably would repurchase it. These are really, really nice, and I really, really hope that they come up with a palette for me to try sometime in the future, because I really would like to. These were pretty impressive to me for face products. I don't pay much attention to face products, really. So it's really nice to have some that I went, oh, these are nice. I like them. I've been impressed by them. Yes, so I definitely recommend the brand for that. I don't know anything about the palette, so hopefully one day I will be able to try them with something with a little bit more color. So next are the Mamacita liners, the little liners. I have spoken about these a couple of times, actually. They have become a new favorite liner. I really enjoy them as much or more than my Zoevas. There's a bit of a learning curve. I love them. You just have to avoid applying them with too wet of a brush or they bleed. They have great color. The shimmers really do shimmer. And they're cheaper than the Zoevas. That said, I like the Zoevas. Don't get me wrong. I do like the fact that these you can get 6 of these in a group for about 20 bucks. Obviously, they're much smaller than the Zoevas. I have a Zoeva over here, you guys can see. So they're probably more expensive per ounce, but I'm still working on Grease, the black one that I got like year and a half, 2 years ago. So these are going to last forever. I would be really happy if Zoeva cut down to maybe half the product and half or slightly under half the price, and I would be more inclined to buy more of the Zoevas. But for now, I'm buying the Mamacitas. I have a couple of others I want to try, but I'm buying the Mamacitas because I really like them. I really, but I really do wish they had them individually, or you could build your own bundle. I would love it if I could. I also wish they had a really, 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 really dark blue. And then you could just, when you start running out of colors, or if there's particular colors you want and other colors you don't want, you could put together your own little bundle and make your own little, you know, have your own $20 set of what you want, instead of having to take, you know, all of the retros or all of the shimmers or whatever for that bundle that they make. The bundles are great, and I'm not saying it's a horrible thing. I'm just saying that, you know, eventually I'm going to run out of the black. I'm probably going to run out of the blue. There's at least one green shimmer I'm probably eventually going to run out of. I would much rather be able to get a bundle that I've created with the black, the blue, and the green, and then whatever 3 other colors I want, instead of having to go and buy the bundle they have with the black, the bundle they have with the shimmer, and having to spend more money just because I have 2 of them that are out. That's my biggest complaint, that, and I really want them to have a dark blue. I mean, much darker than the one they have. I also wish that the shades have names. They don't. They're just, this is a purple from that bundle. But that's minor in the scheme of things. Yeah, it's minor in the scheme of things. I don't know which bundles came out of what, other than the shimmer bundle. I got a retro and another one that I can't remember the name of it. And like I said, sometimes I wish the shades had names, and that would be easier to figure out which bundle you need to pick up if you do have one, or make it so, like I said, you can go ahead and get your own bundle. But again, having the shade names would help with that too. One more thing about the Mamacitas to be aware of before I move on to my last brand for today. These are not gel liners. They're just not gel liners. They're like really packed, pigmented. I want to say it's kind of like eyeshadow, but they have much more pigmentation than eyeshadow. They have much more pigmentation that I've noticed than, say, pigment palettes. So whatever they are, but they are not gel liners. So if you're into gel liners, these will not make you happy. I don't care. I don't care if they're gel liners or not. I just want them to stand up to my eyes. I use setting spray. That seems to help. And I have noticed that when I try to take these off, they can be very difficult to get off. So using the setting spray with them, they have some stick-to-itiveness. It's not gonna melt away, except on the outer corner if you have your issues like I do. But that's my eyes. That's not on them. My eyes wipe out waterproof liners. So anyway, so last in my group is the makeup makeup review. It is one word, and I don't know. I'm terrible with pronunciations, right? I got these liquid lipsticks. They are matte liquid lipsticks. They are amazing. I love these. These are my favorite formula. Pigmented, very lightweight. You can barely feel them on your lips, even when it dries down. Holds up very well to eating. They can show lines, but a little bit of gloss or balm over them helps with that. I'm not a matte fan. I am a fan of these. They are so comfortable, and I want more. I want more. I have tried to do a couple of ombre type looks with these, and for some reason, even just taking this dark one and this purpley one, I don't know. I just guess I don't do it right. I would think these colors would make it so that they are different enough that I could get that ombre look done, but I can't seem to do it. But I highly recommend these. I can't remember the price. I can't remember how much they cost, but you know, it's funny how I got these. I got these by mistake. So I was trying to figure out how to use a card or a balance on something like like, you know, I had something on my PayPal or something. I can't remember what it was. And I was trying to figure out how to use that balance against something and then finish paying off with something else. There are ways to do that. This wasn't it. And I think I was going to try to do it with my first payment on Afterpay too. It was a mess. I eventually did find something within the balance and pick that up. But that said, I had been wanting to try these, and the whole thing that I wanted to do did not work. So I was going through the whole steps, and then I clicked get the order, basically that last step before they go, oh, okay, so your order's on you're gonna get your order, we have your order. Like I said, I was looking for a coupon code, a place, anything, and it just didn't work. But I'm really glad. It was a happy mistake, because like I said, you all know, I keep saying it, I'm not a matte lipstick wearer. I'm just not. And these are absolutely astonishing. I highly recommend them. If you can find a color that you like in their collection, give them a try, seriously. And it's made me interested in trying some other stuff from them at some point in time. But right now, I just want their lipsticks. They're really, really good. These are very, very nice. Anyway, so that is all the stuff that I've tried last year. That's from the brands that I tried last year. One of them I had tried somewhat before, but hadn't really gotten into. Got into it last year. That have become my favorites out of all the indie brands I tried last year. And so we've got Melt, Nomad, Mented, Mamacita. I've got a palette from Mamacita I'm going to be trying out, and makeup review. So makeup review, makeup them, the lipsticks. The lipsticks are really good. And yeah, they're, like I said, with the Melt, I am still buying more. With the Nomad, there's one I want out. They just released that I want now. The Mented, I'm kind of watching and waiting to see if they'll eventually come out with a palette I want. Can't remember if they have highlighters, and if they do, I do think I want to try them. Got the palette from Mamacita, and right now I'm just really on to the review. Liquid lipsticks. I really, really, really enjoy them. So highly recommend. At any rate, that is it for the day, and I hope you like what you've seen and that I haven't rambled your ear off too much. I'm looking at my timer going, yeah, there's going to be a lot of editing on this. So I hope I didn't ramble it off too much. I hope I didn't drive you crazy with my rambling too much. But that is it for the day, and if you're not subscribed, I hope you will subscribe. When you subscribe, please hit that notification bell so you know when I upload. I currently upload 2 days a week, Monday and Thursday. But we do have bonus videos. We've had several of them already, including, you know, indie brands. Depending on when this actually finally goes up, you may have finally seen my son's new box. If it's not there yet, it's coming. His dad ordered it. It's on its way. It'll be here soon. You fans of my son can calm down. It's coming. And if you send anything, you don't have to, but if you do, that would also be opened as a bonus video, unless you don't want me to. If you don't want me to, just put a little note in your box or join the domytriesthis Facebook group, which is listed down below, and let me know on there that you have sent a box and you do not want me to open it on the channel, and I won't. Scout's honor, promise. I really was a Girl Scout at one point. At any rate, if you're interested in any of those, you will need to have that bell clicked, because they do not go up on regular upload days. If you're part of my notification squad, please check both your bell and your subscription to make sure they're both still active. And if you choose not to subscribe, well, after this utterly long-winded, probably for a lot of you, duh, of course that's good video, I would understand. However, you are always welcome back here, because we love having the company. And when you do come back again, don't forget to bring your cup of tea. It don't have to be a squid or an octopus. Octopus, probably. I've never counted your tentacles. He's got 7. Oh, I guess that one's there too. 8. So he's an octopus. Anyway, so this has sat here for quite some time. It is starting to cool off. It is getting late. It has been late. We are going to take a sip. Oh, wow. That is nice. That's beautiful. And even though it's fruity, it didn't break up the milk the way a lot of the fruity teas do. That is really, really good. Tulsi Tranquility by David's Teeth. Consider picking some up if you can. Go to the David's Teeth site. Honest. Anyway, that's it. Hope you have a good one.